Today's topic is, and again, like we mentioned in the beginning, we have pivoted a lot of our own content for this training series to fit where we are right now and to help you, and also to address the questions that you have and the questions we're getting from retreat leaders all over the world about how to face the situation, how to kind of navigate the situation. So we want to be there for you and help you. Our content today is all about how to take some of your retreat content or your retreat business online. So what are some ideas and strategies you can implement that are practical and things that you need to think about? And so we actually created a resource for this training because we wanted you to have something that you could download that you could easily use to kind of go through everything. So take your notes, but there is a resource that you can download, and I'm going to post that at the end of this training. You don't need to have it right now. It looks something like this with tons of little steps, and it's fairly simple, but if you watch this training, you'll be able to kind of complement both of those. So today's topic is how to take your retreat content online, and what we needed to start with always. And here's what I want to say about this topic. I see a lot of people, and this happened in the past week and a half, rush online, right? We saw a whole surge of online offerings, quote unquote, right, offerings. People just jumping online to teach live classes and learn all the tech and understand how to jump online and how to do this online, right? Because people saw their livelihood affected. Yoga teachers, wellness professionals, everyone just realized, if I don't go online, my business may go underwater. And so that's totally understandable. And the question is, what do you do with that now, right? So we saw that initial surge of people jumping online and everyone kind of going live at the same time on Instagram. I don't know if you have a lot of people that you know that teaches yoga online. Everybody is going live, which is great. We need yoga more than ever. We need these wellness practices more than ever. Meditation, everything. So I'm so happy that people are really, I think, breaking through the fear of going online and doing this. The question is now, and here's what not a lot of people are talking about that are helping people through this process. And it's, what do you do with it now, right? Because we don't want to just go online and put an offer out that doesn't have a good intention behind it, meaning that we have thought through the process of what this looks like, right? So with any offer, and this is what I teach my private clients, we need to really think about who our ideal client is, what it is that we're offering, what the benefits are. So that's what we're going to talk about today, is rather than just kind of pushing you, giving you a couple of tech solutions for you jumping online, what are the things that you need to think about to create a solid program online? And how can you kind of modify some of your content that you already have? Because nobody wants to reinvent the wheel right now to fit that content, to fit that program online, okay? So we're gonna give you lots of ideas, and in the questions below, what I wanna hear from you right now is, if you have an online content or an online program, what is it about? Have you already kind of jumped on that, and what are you doing online, if so? Just share below. You feel free to share a link if you have it, because I'd love to see what it is that you're doing. We would love to support you. And also share any questions you have around this. So we'll keep, hopefully, this whole live engaged and excited and with questions. So Lynan, tell us a little bit about what you think is the first step. So we set the first step as check in, right? Like the first thing you need to do before you create an online program is check in. What do you have to say about that?
Well, first I want to say hi to Maya. She's watching from Peru, so she's also abroad. And I believe Tish is in Costa Rica, so I'll say hi to Tish. And we've got Vanessa and we've got Apostolia in Greece. So let's say hi to those guys.
Hi everyone, thanks for watching. We're so excited to have you.
And so the first step is check in. And so this is, we're wellness professionals. This is what we do. We reflect, we reinvent. This is our way of being, right? We're always checking in ourselves and see where we're at. And, a lot of people, like Paloma just said, jumped into creating live streams and, putting a ton of online content out there right away. But now, even if that's you, we want you to take a step back, check in, and check back in with your why. Why did you start this business? Why did you become a yoga teacher or wellness professional? Why did you start your first retreat? What is that purpose behind it? And this is how you truly pivot and pivot online is by knowing and, foundationally coming from your why, because anything is really possible right now in this space and time. We kind of are in this unlimited possibility space. And so what you need to be doing right now is leaving behind any of your limitations, but you need to ground yourself in your why. So if you guys have a why, if you need some time to go dig into that, that's your homework, your home play while you're quarantined at home or you're in lockdown. But if you know your why did you start or host your first retreat? Put that in the comments below. We want to know about it, because that's going to be the foundation that we build all these steps on today. So, your why is why you get up every day. It's why you turned your expertise into your service, into these retreat experiences that you were hosting in person. And now we're going to figure out how to translate that to the online space. So even if you've been hosting yoga classes online or meditations online, that's awesome. But go tap back in, check back in with yourself, with your why, and figure out how this is going to fuel the next steps, how it's going to fuel the new work that you're going to put into the world, and really figure out why your why is here to serve the community in this context, right? So there's crisis, there's pandemic, there's people getting sick, there's illness, there's disease, and there's also some disease in the mind right now, right? People are stressed out, they're panicking, and maybe your tools help them calm down. Maybe it helps their nervous system balance and harmonize. So think about those things. And also, this is another time for you to figure out how you can add to or improve upon your retreat business. So if there were some big holes in the boat, I think we talked about this last week, there's some ways that you are not showing up fully, or maybe ways that you didn't know how to take care of things in your retreat business. This is a time to plug those holes and do it really, really well. And it could be financial. I think a huge one that a lot of people have in their boat that's a hole is the financial piece. But pay attention to where you were having some blockages, where you were having some places that you could improve upon.
I think that I love what you're saying. I think that what this situation exposes to a lot of businesses, not only wellness businesses or yoga teachers, are the holes that we had already, right? So same thing as the global situation and the health crisis that we're facing in a lot of our countries, that's exposing those structural problems that we had in those healthcare systems, right? So the same thing goes for your business. What is this exposing in your business? This is, I don't know if you guys feel the same way, and let me know in the comments. Are you feeling like this time is a time to kind of stop for a second and slow down, right? It's kind of forcing us to collectively sit down and think and ponder. So take this time. The first step is always, when you create a program of any sort and kind, live, a retreat, an event, or online, you have to first check in. So connect with your why, like Lynan said, and why this is so important. It's because, again, we saw a surge of people jumping online, creating online programs or online classes, really, just kind of putting together like whatever they had in the kitchen, putting together into a soup, and that worked great. Now, if you want this to be long lasting, we have to get back to the drawing board and make sure that this all check in, right? This all is connected, that it all connects back to our why, to our purpose, to why we show up to help our communities. And like Lynan said, so important that right now, like the crisis that we're facing, a lot of people are facing is fear, anxiety, depression, loneliness. We are scared as people, as humans, and that's understandable. Mm-hmm. You can show up because we are in the wellness industry. We're not just in the retreat industry. Many of us are in the wellness industry, and we know how to face these situations from the inside out. Right? So,
and even if you are a yoga teacher, this is another way to look at yourself. Don't just even limit yourself to, I'm a yoga teacher. A lot of you have knowledge of other things, sound healing, aromatherapy, essential oils. There's other things that you're bringing into your practices. What other things can you give and serve with to the world right now because of what's going on? So think a little bit outside the box as well.
I love that. And Vanessa, she just commented, now offering an online and breathing and meditation one-on-one sessions to everyone who stay at home. So she's working with stay-at-home moms and CEOs. So I love that she kind of pivoted and understood, okay, now I have an opportunity to bring this online. Thanks so much for sharing, Vanessa. And I love that you're using Zoom. She says she's using Zoom to kind of help her students, which is what we're using for this. And we'll talk about some platforms that we love that you can use for this. So the first step is to check in. Again, just reiterating that we have a download for this training, and I'm going to share that link at the end of this training so that you can go ahead and go download it. So the second step that we talked about is then after we check in with our business, we look at like, what is it that I can improve on in my business in general? When I've like figured out, like I'm connected with my why, I know that, you know, what my purpose is, why I show up every single day to help my community. When we have that kind of journaling done, because that's more of a journaling inner process, right? Of thinking, of processing things. Then our next step is to kind of put that outwards and start brainstorming ideas, right? So maybe Lynan, you want to share some of the stuff that we talked about. So think about, like, I think the main premise right now, because of this is where we're at as a global community of retreat leaders. We're thinking about ways to take our retreat content online. Like, how can I serve my community through this time, right? So think about serving your community versus how can I make this work, right?
Make money, or
right,
just make money.
Because if we do that, I think our ideas, our creativity, our resourcefulness will show up in bigger and better ways.
So the first step that I would consider doing in this brainstorming, the second step, is taking inventory of your content or your teachings. So what kind of classes are you normally teaching? What is the different aspects of your retreats that are the highlights that make them sell, make them jump off the sales page and help them sell out? So think about all the aspects that you're known for that you're going to then take and translate to the online space. So again, it's taking inventory of the offerings and the content that you already have. And maybe you go through your yoga classes. What are your really extra special yoga classes or extra special elements of your yoga classes that really stand out and people talk about and they love? And then the next piece that I would really dial in with your brainstorm is, what are your results and benefits? So anybody who knows me knows this is my favorite thing to talk about, but it's the end of the...
Just to interrupt you, I'm sorry. This is what most people miss. So pay attention to this.
Exactly. And this is why I'm known for it, because it's the one thing that people miss, and it's the most powerful and potent thing that you can use to market, to sell really anything. Do you know about the last page of the story? After someone has gone through your yoga class, after they've gone through your retreat program, after they've gone through your new online program or experience that you've created, what do they feel? What has shifted in their life, their body, their relationships, their business, whoever they are? What has shifted? What is transformed? What is the transformation that you're selling? And this is one of the hardest things for a lot of people. So we're going to invite you to the comments. What are the results and benefits of your retreat experiences or of your yoga classes? Start to put that in the comments, and we're going to start to pull it out. It's almost like taffy. You really want to stretch it out, and you really want to understand all the different parts of it. And it's not just, oh, they feel better or they have a happier life. Like, you really got to get to the nitty-gritty of what people are actually going to pay for, and really start to speak to their soul, speak to their heart, speak to their emotion, because that's how people buy, right? There's this emotional pull to actually put in their credit card number or to click the buy now button or make the payment. They really need to feel like this is for me. And if you can really explain the results and benefits of your program, of working with you clearly, concisely, and in a way that really energetically pulls people in, you can sell anything, and you can really translate your retreat experiences to the online space.
And this is such an important concept. Like, we're really wanting to hone in on this, because this is what I see with my clients. Most people are missing when they plan retreats. Same goes for online programs or anything else that you put together and offer your community. I call this and I didn't make this up, but you reverse engineer the benefits, right? So you start with what you want people to experience at the end of your retreat, how they come out of it, like Lynan said, and then you reverse engineer the entire process. You go back step by step and see, well, for them to have these benefits, for them to experience these results, this transformation, what is the journey that they need to go through? What are the step-by-step things that I need to teach them, that I need to walk them through, that I need to guide them through for them to get this benefit? I talked about this before in the group many times. I talk about it with my clients all the time. They know this. This is where I start. So same goes with the way that I teach retreats. Now we want to kind of emphasize this for your online program. So start with, like Lynan said, with what are the benefits or results your online program would offer. And just one more thing that I want to say here, we're trying to create a program that is a bit of a different offering than just a one-time class, right? So we're going to talk about like the different formats that you can use, but think about this. I want you to expand your brain beyond just like showing up live and taking donations right now. We are actually talking about bigger programs that can help you through this whole process of going through the COVID-19 pandemic, right? So we're talking about programs that will help you stay afloat, that really will help you through the financial crisis that we're in. So don't think about just a one-time offer. What do people feel at the end of my class? But rather, what do people feel at the end of 4 weeks of working with me? Of a one-on-one session program series, I don't know, something like that, right? So we'll talk about the format more, but when you're doing this, I want you to kind of take your notebook and think about it in a bigger way. So that's the part of the brainstorm, and I don't think we missed anything, but again, you can download that sheet where you can go in and start brainstorming yourself. And if you already have some ideas, maybe you can share here. I know that hi, Anjali is watching as well. I just wanted to say hi to her. And one thing that I wanted to say when you're doing benefits, so Vanessa mentioned benefits, more conscious people, more active about their passions and life purpose. I love that. Now, can you go deeper? That's the question. Think about it as peeling off the layers. Every time, there's actually a practice that's a meditation practice where you kind of peel off the layers. Do the same thing with this, okay? Write down the first ideas that you have about the benefits and results your program would offer, or your teaching offers. Just think about it that way. Now, once you've wrote that down, go deeper. Push yourself to peel off the layer and say, what does that mean? What does it mean for Vanessa, for example, to have more conscious people? Can you peel off one layer there and go a little deeper? So that is the work that I want you to do. Really try to kind of peel off every layer until you get to a point where you feel like, this is really what I do. This is really the benefit that I offer. What people come to us all the time asking, how can I make my retreats unique? How can I stand out in the crowd, right? That's what we all want. This is the process that you have to go through to get to that point where you create something that's really unique and that is not sounding like everything else out there. I don't know if you have anything to add to that.
Yeah, I mean, my final piece with that is this is sort of the end part of 2 that goes into step 3, but you took that inventory of, the components of your classes or your programs or your retreats, but start to even play in your mind and in your journal and in your brainstorm about how you could move that online. Mm-hmm. And some of that stuff maybe can't move online, and that's the reality of it. Mm-hmm. But can you get creative? Again, think outside the box, be really kind of goofy and playful and experiment. And this is a place to have fun. Like when we say, online program, just as easily we could say online experience, right? We really don't want another yoga program, right? We want something that's going to feel different. And again, this is your secret sauce. This is the unique parts of you, the unique things that why people show up to your yoga class and maybe not someone else's, why people go to your retreat and maybe not someone else's. What is that special sauce that you offer? And see how you can start to adapt it and play with it online. What are there fun ways that you can do? And you can do research on this. You can see what other people are doing. You can look on YouTube videos. You can get on TikTok. You can see all this cool stuff and how people are really inciting and activating transformation in so many different ways through devices, through the online space, which a lot of us are less used to because we're so good at being in person. So it's how do you take your essence and infuse it through the computer, through the screen, through video, through workshops, worksheets, whatever way that you're going to choose to express this. How are you going to do it? And see how some other people are doing it. play with it, maybe do some experimentation. And we're starting to go into step 3, but really start to play and see what else is possible. So after you do that inventory, start to open up your mind, open up the possibilities, and also pay attention to your intuition and see how you could bring your brilliance to the online space.
So Jessica, hi Jessica, thanks for commenting. She's saying, women walk away from my retreats feeling deeply soul nourished, inner resourced, connected in heartful community, and remembering their own innate magic. So that's beautiful.
Magic.
Again, go back in there and see what other layers, Jessica, can I peel off of this? How more, like, what does that mean specifically, right? What does that mean? Like, think about, what does it mean to connect to my inner magic? What does that look like? Like, try to be as specific, as practical as you can. This is the hard part, especially with woo-woo stuff, like big picture, beautiful transformation. It's hard to get that into like practical words that actually communicate with your ideal client.
And also remember that the women that you normally reach, there's a whole new group of women who are now sitting at home quarantined, who need that same magic, who need those same exact benefits and results. And so now your audience has even expanded. So if you're used to just fitting this small niche and this certain client avatar, it's an opportunity for you to open out, because now more people are a captive audience online, and maybe they're friends who work a lot or are normally really occupied with their kids. Now their partner's home and they've got some time to sit and do a program or sit and do a meditation and start to get to know you. So start to open up your eyes and pay a little bit more attention to some of the new people that could really benefit from what you're doing.
I love this. Okay, we're going to jump into step number 3. So step 1 was checking in. Step number 2 was brainstorming and peeling off those layers, starting from the point of always understanding what the benefits and results it is that you want your program, whatever we're creating here online, to give your students. To what is the experience at the end of your program that your students will, what's the transformation? I love that word, because it could look so differently depending on who you are and what type of work you do, but like, think about what's the transformation at the end? What's the butterfly gonna look like at the end? Okay, so the next step is survey. So this is a step that we always encourage every single person, every single client, every single retreat leader to do when they're doing their retreats, is do the market research. What do people actually want? So now you have your ideas up here in this little beautiful cloud of ideas. Let's match that with reality. What do people want? So the same thing applies for creating an online program. You have your ideas, you have all these amazing things and skill sets that you do that you're putting together. Do people want that? Or what is it that, what part of that do they want more, right? And I think in this specific instance, because we are all quarantined and things are different, we're all online, you can do your research differently, right? So it's all about kind of checking in with your individual clients or potential clients on social media or via email, or giving them a quick call, or, you know, just checking in with them somehow and asking just, hey, I'm thinking about creating some online programs. What are you more interested in right now? What do you need help with, right? What are the things that you are right now, are top of mind for you in your life? Is it stress management? Is it anxiety? I mean, we talked about all these things, I think, that are bubbling up in our society. So check in with your clients and see, like, how can I match this bubble of ideas that I have with the reality of what my students are really looking for, my community is really needing. That's the magic pill right there. Put those two together and you have the perfect offering, right?
Yeah. And the one thing to consider too is doing real personal one-on-one interviews. People have time right now. And even if you can move off of text or even voice messages work pretty well, but get actual answers to questions. And I often say your clients or potential clients will use the exact words that they need from what they need and what they're really craving and what they're really desiring. The other thing you can do is something called social listening. So going in a Facebook group or kind of going around Google or going around some of these forums and seeing what people are talking about and the words that keep showing up again and again. Or maybe if there's a chat below some sort of yoga class and you're starting to see like, I struggle with this, I struggle with this. And you're like, okay, so like if you're struggling with this pose, here's like the quick fix program to get you in your handstand in the next 6 weeks, you know, something like that. But really paying attention to what people are saying and not thinking that you know better than them. Really listen. listen and understand what is really coming from their hearts right now. And then think about how you can make it accessible, right? So what format is going to be the easiest way for them to consume this content? So are these people going to be able to get on Zoom? Are they going to be accessing this via their phone or iPad, or is it going to be on desktop? So think about how they're going to be accessing it. We're going to talk about a few different programs that you can use that are, some of them are free. So this is a really low income way to do this. But think about how people, and you can even ask them this again, if you're going to do one-on-one interviews or going to send some voice message back and forth, ask them how they would like to receive the program and what would make it easier for them to consume, especially right now, but even after COVID and when they're back to their normal life.
Yeah, I can give you one example. So I'm doing a lot of home workouts right now. Obviously, I've always done a lot of home practice, but I'm feeling like I need some live classes because I just want to connect with my own community and with people out there and kind of work out with people, right? And so there are a lot of live classes on Instagram, so I'm taking some of those, but I actually noticed that I like it better when people create a Facebook group and create the classes in there, because then I can go and catch the same class recorded not 24 hours later, but however long I want. So a lot of people, one great format for me specifically is a Facebook group. I feel like that's better than IG Live. So depending on your ideal client, on the community you're serving, depending on what they need, you'll get those answers of how to kind of put this together, right? Because that's what we want. We don't want to create something that nobody will be able to access, or it's going to be really hard for them to access. So that's what your surveys are for. That's why you are going and reaching out to your community to not just understand your content, but also the format, the accessibility that you need to kind of think about when you're doing this, okay? So again, just to reiterate one thing that we said in the beginning, we're thinking about bigger programs here, not just the showing up once live or every other day on Instagram. We're thinking about a class series, a training, a workshop series, a program that's longer, something that will live through this pandemic, something that you can continue using afterwards, that you can actually build something from this. That's not just that quick fix to your business. Again, let's not do that, right? If we're going to create something, if we're going to take this time to really build something, let's do something that works long-term for our business, that can actually add another revenue stream to your business. So that's the survey part. If you have any questions, I know some people were posting here. Vanessa again said, such an important phase. I'm so glad that you already know how to survey, that you reach out to your community. Let us know if you've done any of this work in the past or during this time, to kind of reach out to your clients or potential clients and ask them, like, have you asked them, what is it that you're needing right now? How can I show up for you? How can I help you? Let us know in the comments if you've done any of that work, and how that's going, how that went for you. And I just love the idea that we have all these technologies at our fingertips right now. We have our phone, we have our, this pandemic may have taken away a lot of our freedoms, quote unquote, but not the freedom to kind of access people directly through our phones and through our computers. So let's utilize that, let's use it, because it's so important that we are in contact with our community and showing up for them. The next step is, and I'm looking at my notes, is to choose. Yes. Choose. Tell us a little bit about that, Lynan.
So, we just did all this inventory, but this is when you get to kind of decide what type of program or experience you're going to develop in the online space. And so we created a list of some examples. Again, there is this amazing worksheet that Paloma created with all of our content. She'll post it in the comments below afterward. But what I really want you to realize is that you have in you all of the information you need to create your program. So it's just a matter of fitting the puzzle pieces together and being like, oh, that's how I'm going to give it to everybody else. So some of the examples we have, this one I really love, pre-recorded meditations or sound healings. So maybe these are things you already provide in your retreats or your yoga classes, so you can just record them. I know some of you are beautiful singers or chanters. This is another great space for that. A live group program. You can do this all on Zoom. It doesn't have to be pre-recorded. You just get people on, you have your prepped content, and you teach it every single week. It's the same as a yoga class, but you record it and you sell it while you're recording it live, but then you can also distribute it afterward. This is pre-recorded. It's some of the most fantastic teaching you're going to do, and then you have it available to sell in the future. So I always say create it once, sell it again and again. Email programs or courses. So this is sending a series of emails. So if you're more of a writer and you're more comfortable, telling stories and sharing anecdotes that are going to transform people, and that's the storyteller in you, maybe some sort of email program will be really transformational. If you're inspired by Seth Godin writes these really short but very heartfelt, powerful emails. Another one to check out is Tut, which is letters from the universe, right? So he just sends these great little nuggets, and people will sign up for this. This is a time where people need inspiration, they need positivity, and they will
have time for doing these series. Like they can go, you can do this as a challenge. You can do this in the format. You've probably done a challenge before where they send you the content that's pre-written as an email, right? So think about this going through like a 10-day process or timeline, right?
Yeah. And then you can also do an email course. So you can actually share exercises or homework or worksheets, and you don't have to do any video. So this is for people who maybe are not into video. You can do an email course, or if you're going to do a course with video, you could do a pre-recorded course. Maybe you're not comfortable live, you're not good on the fly. And so you want to pre-record modules or steps or parts to your system or different types of activities or exercises to get that result or benefit, that transformation. You can pre-record them. And again, like Paloma said, this is not just a one-time class. This is not just a one workshop. This is not a one-off. We're really trying to sell multiple week, multiple month courses, multiple week or month programs that people are investing in because they have the time right now. We don't know how long. A lot of countries, a lot of different states are doing different levels of lockdown, and they're weeks and they're months, and they're going to be captive audience, and people are looking to advance and develop themselves right now. So this is the perfect time to do it.
And I want to say something.
Want to share?
I just want to say something about this. Think about like any type of thing that you create, any type of teaching that you do. If someone shows up for your class once, will they really experience a transformation? Can they really, right? Or if they show up for a meditation class once, no. Anything that you do, especially in this space, we have to do in a series of classes, in a series of sessions, right? And so same goes for your online programs. It's not something that people show up to once. Sure, it'll relieve some stress in the moment, but if you really want to walk them through a process of learning something, educating them through a process or guiding them through a transformation, that is not going to happen with a one-time class or offer. That's why right now that's what we are encouraging you to do, is to create something that has a longer term, right? And it could be anywhere from 10 days to months of working with someone one-on-one, right? And so a lot of you maybe have done private classes before. It's something within that format, right? Where you're working with someone continuously and really individualizing the program. And Lynan mentioned a couple of things. So let's see what else. So I have workshops and trainings online. So workshop series, trainings. This can look like anything that you do in a live format. You just transfer that online. And again, Lynan said, not everything can be transferable online because some things are physical. So you have to get creative and resourceful and playful. Lynan mentioned at the beginning, like be goofy about it when you're brainstorming. Get out of your comfort zone. Think about how kids are creative. They don't let themselves be limited by what can be possible. They create their own possibilities, right? So I want you to live in that space right now when you're creating this program, is to kind of go beyond that, right? So if you can't do a physical part of what it is that you teach, how can you transfer that or make that morph that into something that you could teach in a video, in an email, or whatever it is that the format that you want to do. And we also talked about a speaker series summit. This is a good one if you want to connect with other people and peers in your community right now. Sort of what Lynan and I are doing, right? We're coming together to help you. You can do the same with other people. So if you don't want to do this alone, bring in your peers and friends, other yoga teachers, other wellness professionals, nutritionists, to create a series of things that you can then invite people in and join you, right? So you can actually join forces with other people. The strength of our community is so apparent right now. Like, bring together your network, see what you can do together. What can you co-create in this time, right? In this time where we all need.
So what I've seen is a lot of complementary services. There's a big one that's happening right now in Australia and New Zealand. They're calling it like the healing experience. And it's like 100 healers and they're all coming together and every single one is doing a different healing thing. So get really creative. People, again, are at a captive audience. So maybe you have like a sound healer, a breathwork person, a yoga, a nutritionist, and we're going to do the holistic at-home Corona, summit. And then there's something you could sell afterward, right? Even if you're selling it for $5, $10, $25, if you could sell 10, 25, 50, 100, you would make some nice money there. And you would get the exposure into your other programs, into something bigger. And again, we don't know how long this crisis will last. And again, you want to have people ready to come to your retreats in the future, ready to join your yoga classes once they're open again. And so keep yourself top of mind, keep yourself interesting. Another thing I want to talk about is premium offerings.
Mm-hmm.
So the really interesting thing is a lot of you are thinking too small. You're really used to one yoga class. Well, I'm just a yoga teacher. And even I'm seeing yoga teachers selling one-on-one sessions via Zoom, via FaceTime, right? But they're not thinking bigger. They're not thinking about creating a comprehensive program, right? You can bring in a nutritionist. You could probably find a nutritionist in this group, or a breathwork person in this group, or a meditation expert in this group. But you can create a full transformational program that's not just yoga classes. That's not just what the one thing you do. Create something that's bigger. And again, if you haven't hosted a retreat before and you're in this group because you were starting to dream up your first retreat, this may be a stretch for you. But if you have hosted a retreat or a live in-person event before, you know how to do this. You know how to expand something and make it really powerful and transformational. Now what you have to do is take it out of the in-person space and translate it to a premium online offering. And so this is where you're creating your signature system, your signature program. There's like diamond, platinum programs, but people right now, they have the time, especially the people who have the money. These are people who normally work a lot. They may still already be employed and be receiving money. Like somebody said that to me today, like they're really encouraging people who have steady income to go out and buy from restaurants to keep people employed. But pay attention to those people, because premium offers may be something you never tapped into, and it's a really great possibility for a lot of you.
I talk a lot about that if you've taken my online retreat quiz, the retreat leader quiz, I talk about, for example, premium retreats, right? Like if you're at that space where you're creating premium retreats, you're creating an experience that is deeper, that's expanded, that's just transformational in a different way, right? Same thing goes for your online offering. So you take this step by step, and obviously you want to show up where you're at. Lynan said, if you've never created an experience live, maybe this is a stretch for you, but you can still do it. I think most of us here in this group have worked with clients. So think about where your clients are and where you are right now and put that together into something. And I want to talk real quick about, so someone in the group, I lost the comment, asked about how to download Zoom and record those in quality so that you can download the video in its quality. I think that it has to do with two things. Check your internet connection, make sure that internet connection is like at its best, and that's going to be a difficult thing right now. So maybe you record your videos when most people are not online. That's definitely in the evening when most people are online. So just think about, or maybe very early in the morning, get up at 4 a.m. and record your videos, because then you're going to have all of the juicy Wi-Fi that nobody else is using. The other thing that you can do is double check that when you are downloading your recorded video from Zoom, that it's the highest quality, right? So that's something that you can just Google just Google it up, or go into the Zoom. They have a whole section with FAQs and resources that you can go in and double check. And if you don't find what you need, make sure that you email them. They will be able to get back to you, and you'll find some answers through them. So they should be able to help you. If you have Zoom, especially if you're paying for it, you should be able to download really good quality videos. So those two things,
exactly.
Check your Wi-Fi and check your the download quality when you're downloading your video. So a couple of other things I want to add on to this, because this is the part that a lot of people are excited about, is what does it look like to create an online program? So we mentioned a couple, right? So You can either do it live, so that's live trainings, live workshops, anything live, meaning you show up on Zoom, your people are showing up at the same time, and at the same time you're recording this so that you can reuse it. The other thing is to do pre-recorded or pre-written material. So you pre-record a video and then you share it, then you sell it. Or you're rewriting it and you're sharing that email course in advance. So you're writing in advance and you're sharing that afterwards. So those are the kind of the big chunks of things that you can choose from. What I want you to think about is, again, going back to the benefits. What is the benefit that you're offering your students, or what's the result that you want them to go through when they do this program? And what does that need to look like as far as like you breaking down this program into steps? So is it a 10-day thing? Is it a 5-day thing? Is it a 4-week thing? So really, this is where you individualize your program and you look at, with these results in mind, with this transformation that I want them to experience, what format do I use then? So that is what should be guiding your decision versus just like, oh, this sounds like fun. No, go into like really look at your benefits, the results, the experience, and then you make a decision. Okay, this seems like I could do this way, or this is how long I need with each student to be able to walk them through this process. And a couple of other resources real quick. We have Zoom. Zoom, everyone knows about Zoom at this point. Zoom has been a program that business owners have been using for years because it's incredible. Has, you know, I mean, just so many different features to it. You can do webinars like we're doing. You can do all sorts of stuff. Obviously, there is a paid.
You can do breakout. You can do breakout groups. So if you want people to partner and practice something, they can break into twos, and then you can bring them all back together. I mean, Zoom has a lot of capabilities, and it's worth researching because it's an amazing, amazing tool.
What an amazing opportunity for you to kind of break through the barriers of technology and like go through that little, you know, hump of having to learn something, but then coming out of this whole thing, knowing a whole new tool that can be so valuable for your business, not just through our lockdown, but beyond that. That's what I want us to really think about. This is beyond this period of time. One other platform that nobody else is talking about, or I'm saying nobody else, but nobody that I've seen is talking about this, and it's Member Vault. I really want to give them a shout out, and I'll post a link in the comments. And I think this would work amazing for so many yoga teachers. It's everything in one. So if you don't have a website, you can actually use this as a beginner website. So it's a place where you can upload a lot of content. And if you are curious about what this could look like, this is where you're going to go and download your resource. So I created a Member Vault membership site. And you'll be able to look at what it looks like in the front end, but in the back end, you can create courses pre-recorded. What you can do right now is go live there, but what you can do is go live on Zoom and then download that video and upload it there, right? You can create free resources, material of, like you can upload tons of different types of materials up there, class series, you know, all sorts of stuff. So Member Vault is an amazing resource that nobody's talking about, and it's actually free for, I think, up to a certain amount of students. So people can sign up to join you there, and it's kind of like a membership. They navigate through the thing, and you can have paid programs and you can have free offerings. So you can have everything housed in one. I've done a lot of research on types of membership types of sites and stuff like that, and this was by far the one that I loved, you know, the most, because it's so simple. Really, obviously everything, you know, takes a while to learn, but it's so simple in the way that it functions and intuitive. I don't know if you have.
And this is how you could, well, this is how you can get something up quickly, right? So it's not about being perfect. It's not about it being 100% gorgeous, amazing, you know, spectacular. It's like, get yourself up there, use this tool. I haven't checked it out yet, but I know Paloma's putting our worksheet and this video up there. So definitely check it out. I'm a huge fan of Canva. If you haven't used Canva yet, Canva is a great space to make worksheets, checklists, any kind of resource support guides to your videos or any of the content you're creating. People love visual things. They love, you know, something they can share on Instagram, something they can share on Facebook about their journey. So go on there, especially if you're artistic. This is such a fun place. I love to play in Canva. It's super magical. And then MailChimp, you know, just one of the free email marketing platforms, you know, just a place where you can distribute your email course or your modules for your course. You want to familiarize yourself with one of the email marketing platforms. Again, most of those are free until you reach a certain amount of people. So if you're just starting out or if you're under thousands, you should be fine.
Yeah.
And if you already have one, go in there and familiarize yourself with it. Get to know it much, much better, because it's time.
Put it on your
There's some more
calendar, like
advanced.
go through some of the learning, like just go through some tutorials of how to do certain things in these email provider platforms, and also in other platforms, right? So schedule that into your daily quarantine day. What can I do to learn a little bit more about MailChimp? What can I do to learn a little bit more about how to use Zoom? This is a process, like where you have to go through the learning, all the steps that it takes to learn to use something. And obviously, as you go, you're going to learn more and more. But just to get you going, schedule that into your day. And it's exciting, because right now where you're learning something new, there's nothing more exciting than us growing and expanding our horizon and our brain. Really, that's what we're like forced to do right now. It's necessity to kind of learn all these online tools. I want to add on ConvertKit to that. That's what I use. And MailChimp is a great resource, and ConvertKit is an awesome resource as well. And I think they just expanded to do like every single, because they used to have a free plan or whatever you call it, but it was very limited. And now I think they expanded to you being able to use most of the features that they have for free. So just go in and check ConvertKit if you're like looking into that as well. I love ConvertKit. That's what I work with. So you mentioned Canva, Lynan. We mentioned Zoom. Obviously, if you don't know how to use YouTube, that's a great platform to upload videos, to create a whole series of videos in there. You can, if you don't want to share with everybody and you're doing this as a paid offer, obviously, and that's what we're talking about, you can set those videos as private and then embed them on your website. So there's ways to do that through YouTube and your website.
Yeah, so they're unlisted, so only the people with the link can find them. They can't be searchable by other people. Also, Gmail, if you don't have a paid version of Gmail or just a regular Gmail account, Google Drive is a great place to have files where people can access them. And then if you are willing to pay, there's programs like Teachable to check out. And also another great platform to put any kind of courses that you're putting together is Udemy. Just checking out Udemy. There's tons of free courses on there right now, again, to learn different things. But it's another place where you can do a paid course that you can sell to people. So just check out some of the spots where you can be distributing your content more easily, especially if you start to get really good at this. It's a super fun place to play.
So that's exactly what you need to do. Just kind of look at the different options you have to put things out, right? Because there's not just one way. You may be able to actually take a program and make it into different things, into different platforms. So let's start with one, but then look at the different ways that you can distribute this content that you're creating. So that was step number 4. I'm trying to get to step number 5, which is design. It's kind of what we already talked about, so we're not going to go into this step very much. In design, we're kind of adapting this content. That's what we talked about, like really looking at what are the benefits, the results, and designing that content. Does it look like homework? Does it look like material that you're creating, writing, and making pretty PDFs? Does it look like videos that you're pre-recording? Does it look like, what does that look like? To be able to teach this online, what is it that you need to put together? What is the material? And again, the platforms you can use for this is Zoom. You can upload your videos to YouTube, to your website. You can upload it to one of the membership platforms we mentioned. And you can also, one of the things that you can use is Canva to create your PDFs and to create your resource materials that looks professional and on brand, so that your brand kind of stands out there. That's always nice to be able to, even though we don't want this to be perfect, you can go in and kind of create some of this material to look as professional as you can at this moment, right? So that is I wanted to say something there, but I kind of forgot what that was. Yeah, so one of the things that we just mentioned as well is to make sure that you are choosing the platform that works best for your students. Remember that what we talked about in the beginning, that if it's in a survey, right? So make sure that you're always going back to that initial survey that you're doing, or the check-in with your students. Can they access this if I do it here? Something very easy that you can do that we talked about, I think, a little bit, was to create a Facebook group and go live in the Facebook group. That couldn't be easier. And all you need to do is set the Facebook group on a private. And so when people pay you through PayPal or Venmo, they get a link to access that private Facebook group, and that's where you're sharing your content. This is I think a short-term solution, because I do want you to kind of have your content somewhere else where you own it, because everything that's on Facebook is owned by Facebook, okay? I don't know if you know that, but that's a very important thing to consider when you are a content creator. So as you're creating this, maybe that's your first iteration, and then you move this to a paid platform or a platform that's beyond, social media. Yeah. And so our last step here is to share. Obviously, now we went through the whole process. It's the sixth step that we have in our worksheet that I'm going to share with you a link for, so that you can go in and check that out. So share. I think this is such an important conversation, because people are so afraid to share right now. People are so afraid to sell because we feel like people don't want this. Like, our community doesn't want to buy anything right now. We're all in kind of shock, in a state of shock, and kind of pausing absolutely everything in our lives. And that may be true to some extent, especially in the first week or two, but we're about to turn a corner. And that's what I want to encourage you, right? We're about to turn a corner, and people are going to start kind of going, this is going to be their new normal for a while. And so people are going to go back to wanting to learn new things, or wanting to work through things, or wanting to be a part of a community. So think about this as yeah, sure, we went through a shock period where people kind of stopped everything they were doing, right? People could, but we're going to go back to a new normal. And what does that new normal? That's why your program needs to fit that need of that new normal. I don't know if you have anything to add there.
And the other piece is that, people will always invest in themselves. Right now, a lot of people are in massive upheaval, but what I've been saying all day to a lot of my friends who are hurting and struggling with what's going on, this has been the secret prayer of a lot of these people. They're in lives, they're in jobs that they're not happy or fulfilled at. They're in relationships that they're not happy or fulfilled in. They're not able to be home with their kids and their families in the way that they want to be. They're not being able to spend time with parents or grandparents that are older. And now they have these opportunities. And so a lot of people's compass of what they want and who they want to be and how they want to live is changing and shifting back to their core and back to their truth. And so they're going to be looking for resources. They're going to be looking for guides who can show them how to get back to these places. And a lot of you are those guides. And this is not a time to hide. This is not a time to shy away. There are a lot of options if you feel uncomfortable right now to do pay as you wish for a period of time, or pay what you can, or a suggested price. And then, contact me if you, for whatever reason, have just lost your job. So a good friend of mine sells a really amazing digital marketing course. And he said, write me a personal email. Tell me your story. And if I understand it, I'm happy to give it to you for free, or give it to you for a substantial discount. And so I think we're at a place like that, where it's like, tell me what's going on. And maybe you're going to have 10 people who pay full price. You're going to have 5 who pay half price, and you're going to have 5 who are in for free. And you're going to get those testimonials from this program, and it's going to grow and grow and grow. But just use your best decision-making skills, and just case by case basis. But I think the other thing here is, like, your divine duty right now that you've been given in your purpose is to share what you have. And if you don't share right now, you're depriving people of what you have. And it's like you're not hoarding toilet paper, you're hoarding your gifts from these people who desperately really need what you have. They're people in pain, people struggling. And they want you to post. They want you to make an invitation for them to join your program, or to listen to your meditation, or to check out this. And even maybe people that have been in your yoga classes have already interacted with you. If you invite them to the next level, this could transform their life. And why wouldn't you give them that option? Let them be the deciding factor if they can afford it right now, or if this is the right time. But make sure you still ask them, and you don't wait or hold back because you think it's not appropriate. It's like, if you really feel in your heart that this person needs this, share it. Share it with every piece of your heart. Share it. Don't hold it back, because it's not the time to hoard your gifts. It's the time to share your gifts.
Yeah. And I love the idea that what Lynan was saying is, don't assume that someone can't buy something from you at this moment, right? Because we don't know everybody else's circumstances. Sure, we're going through some economical shifts that are huge, right? And yeah, some people won't be able to afford what it is that you're offering, but some people will. And some people have been waiting for this moment where they have space in their lives to make a pivot, to shift, to create transformation in their lives. Like Lynan said it so beautifully, like so many people that are unhappy because it is a disease of our lifetime, right? Of living in this busyness of what we call life, where we don't have time for anything else than work and making money. And so this is an opportunity to show up and show them what could be different in their lives, how they can create new habits in their lives to move forward and come out of this not the same. I've been saying this in my private life with my friends, that let's come out of this not the same but better. That is what you're there to help them with. And through
and
that
deeply
process,
healed. Deeply healed.
this is an opportunity to help people really heal. Exactly.
Huge trauma in all these people, pain that you can help them move through right now.
There's going to be a lot of epiphanies coming out of this situation for all of us, not only business owners, but every single person that every neighbor that everyone's going to go through their own process, and some of us are going to need people to guide us through that, and that's what you are here for, to show up for them and to show them. So let's collectively, as a group, as a community here in the Retreat Leader Collective, let's get rid of that limiting belief of nobody wants to buy anything from me until this is over. That is not true. I want to give you permission to continue operating your business because the world needs what it is that you're offering, and continue operating it from a place of love and compassion, not a fear, because fear is the limiting belief that we're all kind of dealing with right now. So continue sharing that, and like Lynan gave you some ideas of how to do this in a sliding scale. So, and look into the big companies, actually, like Zoom and ConvertKit and all these other companies. They're creating free offers for people who can't afford it, or they're giving people leeway to pay their continuous subscriptions, but they're still operating as a business. They're still selling, because you can't stop doing that if you're a business. And so even if you are a solopreneur, one person in business, you're still a business. And I want you to keep selling and operating. So let's turn this corner together as a community to realize that this is going to be our new normal for a little bit, while we're kind of in the midst of not being able to travel and not being able to see people physically. We're going to come out of it. I am 100% sure that retreats are going to come back in bigger and better ways. But for now, don't stop selling, don't stop operating, and don't stop showing up for your people. Anything else that you want to kind of wrap this up with, Lynan?
Yeah, just I think we talked about this at the very beginning, but this is a time to step into your leadership. This is a time to step into your highest self. And one of my favorite analogies, it comes from Eastern philosophy, but it's we have to be like the willow. We have to bend and adapt with the times, and any other type of tree will break. But each of you is super flexible and super adaptable. And that is why we are doing these trainings. We are coming here every single Wednesday, showing up for you guys. Share in the comments anything, everything that came through while we were talking. We want to know what you're up to. Send us links. We want to see it. Tag us, make sure we see it. And also, if there's specific things you're struggling with, specific hurdles that you're coming across that maybe we haven't talked about, because maybe we don't know, put it in the comments below or send us a private message. We want to know what's going on. We're still adapting our topics for the next few weeks. We want to know what's going on for you, where you're struggling, where the challenges are happening, so we can show up for you guys in the biggest way possible, because we are just like you guys. We are adapting, we are pivoting too, and we're here to serve, and we're listening. We're doing step number 3. We're surveying you guys, and we want to know more about what's going on.
And remember that we're in it together. So like Lynan mentioned a minute ago, like anything that you're struggling with right now, anything that you want us to address more, go deeper in, we have the opportunity to do so in these upcoming sessions. So this is a 4-week training series for now. We have done 2. This is our second one. We're going to have 2 more at least. And so we have this flexibility now, this openness to bring in some stuff. We will be talking about retreats, because this is not a time to stop everything retreat related, like I mentioned before. So that may be something we'll bring up in the next session, but we also want to address some of your questions. We are going to wrap this up now. If you have any questions, please post them in the comments, and then Lynan and I will go in and answer your individual questions and make sure that we're connecting with you. And again, there is a resource, a downloadable resource for this that looks kind of like this if you print it, which kind of follows along with what we talked about. That's going to be in the Retreat Leader Collective membership site, not the Facebook group, the membership site. So I'll post a link in the comments so that you can go and access that. And I think that's it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually download this video and put that in there with that resource so that you can access both of those if you haven't watched this entire live. So want to make it really easy for you to access all this stuff. And thanks so much if you showed up live. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're so excited to be able to show up here, be in community, and talk about these topics that are affecting all of us, and try to be solution oriented. Try to come through this bigger and better and just smarter, honestly, with everything that we're going to be learning. Thanks so much, Lynan.
Stronger, more expanded. Thank you, Paloma. Thank you so much for hosting this.
Thank you, Lynan. And everyone, we'll see you next week. And thanks so much. Like the video if you haven't yet, so that we can kind of circle this around in the Facebook group. Bye, everyone.
Bye.